and the way that I see things. So let's see how well that will work out on their CT side. Here on Dust 2 is the pistol round, ready to get started at long last between FORZE and LYNGBY Vikings. Fast rush in, and Rules and Fasher looking to shut it the hell down. FORZE trying to go there straight in towards the B site, and every player goes falling. All left to Jerry in a 1 versus 5. He's dead to rights here in the mid position.
Well, that's one way to start off a CT pistol, I suppose. That was a perfect hold towards that B side. A couple of really good crossfires being set. FORZE going in for the quick B'er play, and they just can't find any trades whatsoever. Jerry is now caught off from the short position. NatoSaphix not even allowing a 1v1 fight to come in. Unfortunately, with the bomb being dropped in the upper tunnels and control being taken of it from the city side, Jerry shouldn't have even been able to get an opportunity to even get a bomb plant. So LYNGBY Vikings looking like they're going to secure the pistol round with relatively ease.
Yeah, very nicely done. Again, Rules and Fasher able to clean up quick frags over towards the tunnel's entrance. The headshots coming in super quick, and this 1 versus 5 for Jerry. Virtually impossible. It's being watched from all angles here. They've got B site covered off. He can't enter Rules tunnels without facing at least one T-side player. Sees his man. Rules shuts him down, gets himself a tidy triple, and LYNGBY Vikings will secure a very confident pistol. Literally just about 11 points of damage done towards Rules' part of things. Everybody else completely unscathed. And yeah, very nicely played there from the CT side. FORZE are trying for the rush, and LYNGBY able to shut it down.
Yeah, nice start coming out from Rouse. I was having a little bit of a look last night, Jay. It seemed like in the HLT top 20 in 2013, Get Right, who was in the #1 position, said that the player for the future was going to be Rouse. Well, might have been a few years, a little bit later than what it actually was, but certainly a player that has had a lot of experience over his time and showed up in the pistol with a great 3K. So FORZE up without that bomb plant, without really any damage. They are just going to Glock this round out for round number 2. A bit of a throwaway round.
And taps 2 from Rolls to add more kills to his count. Quick taps to Almaz's head, taking him straight out of the equation. Scout here for NatoSaphix, ready for 2 players to the mid control. Getting a bit more room to breathe with on that gap now they've seen him. Taps through. First up from the AUG, trying to look for the kills that you can find. Bird from Sky comes up with an SMG. Rolls will end up falling, but that's Scout of NATO there to clean it up. And Bird from Sky hunting for the last player to get himself a nice double kill. Plenty of money to be gained if he's able to do so. He's just being suppressed by the opposition. Oh, eventually catches that final bullet. And secures the second round for LYNGBY. Only 1 casualty sustained. The AUG stays in. And FORZE be up for the rifles now.
Yeah, time to get those rifles forward. Get those AKs out for everybody. Even Scout coming through from Zorti. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe just goes for a mid pick. Maybe tries to go fast out from the long challenge. LYNGBY Vikings looking like they're just going to widespread their default, bringing 3 players over towards the initial long control. Rouse taking a little bit of early damage out from that Scout. Long corner smoke coming through for Kenzie to get behind Blueben. CT's looking to try and retake this long control, and Fasher can't even get to the pit before he takes a duel.
Shut down immediately. Jerry following suit there with the kill on Bird from Sky. 5-on-3 situation, sprays through from the T-side. Forces expecting players to be close towards those smokes, but nothing will be seen. As Rylax instead with the SMG pushing up towards the T-spawn. A backstab against the T's, but just with such little firepower for him and as an individual, I mean, it's not going to work out well to the defensive. Even LYNGBY Vikings are falling back to save the B site. Yeah,
look, that's a really quick call to save, isn't it? I mean, they lose a couple of opening players out from long, from Bird, from Sky and Fasher, but rather than even just seeing what hold you can have from A, they just immediately save the B players looking to just stay on the site. We saw a bit of a wraparound play coming in from Rylax that can maybe get an exit from the long house position, but it is just going to be that save call. FORZE doesn't really get much more easier than that. They have a couple of flashes and a long corner smoke, and the entries just come through really quickly. Great opening frag being found from Kenzie. Then we saw Jerry getting involved from Bird from Sky, swinging on his contact. And that's a way that the Russians get their first round up on the board.
Indeed it is. Very nice execution coming through on that long position. Unfortunately, Fasher and Bird from Sky not quite ready to deal with the sheer amount of AKs that was going to come their way, so nice and efficient, no casualties to be traded back. Maybe the SMG could force forward here on Rylax. It would be a bit risky considering the money line that they have for LYNGBY. It might be more advisable to hold on to as many automatic weapons as you possibly can and just let this one go by the wayside, rebuy back into round 4 and see how you can work from there.
Ooh, let's have a look at these odds. I'm a bit surprised about that. Like, LYNGBY Vikings actually being the favourites here on Dust 2, on FORZE's map pick. And do make sure to get your bonus for your first deposit. Click on the banner below. A special 100% bonus on your deposit for Pacific region. So find out if that is up for you. Fast play out from the longhouse again from FORZE. A lot of utility. Fasha's still holding this angle though.
On the corner, I don't know if he saw that one. The nade on towards Flit will do some damage, and Olmers are also taking down to 41 HP. Burst through on Fasha, comes through, takes out Flit. Olmers is eventually overwhelmed by Bird from Sky, so a 3v5 favor to the Viking squad. Rolls will be shoulder baiting here with utility in his hands of smoke to go down here towards the tunnels area. They do make their way up through mid and lower tunnels, meanwhile for the T-side force.
Rylax and Fasha are taking a lot of damage. And look at Kenzie's approach out from mid. Even sees the player rotating in from CT spawn. Can't really do much with that information, though. And LYNGBY Vikings need to try and see if they can find a way to continue applying pressure, because now Zorti has at least brought a kill back in the favor of the T side.
NATO. AK now back in the cubby corner. The T's won't know about this. They're mostly going to focus on Fasha, however. The main central defender of the A site is only on 41 points of health. He needs to back up quick. Not even anyone towards long. He's going to back up the CT spawn as a result of this. We'll hear the footsteps coming in, calling the rotations for the retake here. Flashes down to the site. AK Kenzie watching the back lines. NATO is ready to receive him. Headshot landed on the spray. 3v3 retake.
Oh, double mollies down from short. Could have been timed a little bit better there from FORZE, but they've done a great job to turn this into a 3v3. This retake looks pretty tough from LYNGBY Vikings. I want to put a bit of control in towards his short position. One-on-one trade. Kenzie just keeps pushing forward. Oh, he's found a 3KJ. Could be on for a quadra, and so he is. What a recovery out from FORZE. That was a 5-on-3 for the LYNGBY Vikings, and FORZE have brought that back by the two newer players, Zorti and Kenzie. What a job between them.
You've got to keep your eyes on those two players as the men to watch for FORZE. For good reason as well. Again, new additions with the context of this lineup, with who they are, with how long that they had their old players for. Need to try and fill some really big shoes for them, and so far they're doing a pretty decent job. Pistols out for his net trap for LYNGBY Vikings, and it won't be much of a job to do. 2 kills against the USPs, and eventually, Rules being the last round left, is cleaned up 1 versus 3 in that scenario, and well, FORZE will be able to claim the lead above LYNGBY Vikings. The rifles brought down now by the CT side.
And for FORZE, we've seen some really big results as of late on Dust 2. We saw the Saw game in Premier, Fun plus Phoenix, Extremum even being very, very one-sided there. Getting a result over Endpoint 2 is another one, or at least a close game against Endpoint and a victory over Sinners. As of late, I have seen some very confident Dust 2 victories for him. Oh, Rao's actually taking a lot of damage. I think that might have been just from a nade or an incendiary out towards a B side, but more continued spray coming through, and I'm not sure if they know about the pit player.
Might do soon. Bird from Sky leaning up with the M4. Past the smoke. Not past the T-side member. That one player towards the blue box corner is just going to wait for contact, wait for the kill to go his way. The AWP, meanwhile, looking to strike back on the short position as the T's try and draw their attention mostly towards the side here. Good flick from NATO. Sapphix Kenzie can drop him back to return. So 4 versus 3 situation. T still pressing in, Flit still checking. Pit not looking the right way. It's Bird from Sky caught off. Fasha still on site though. Drops that bomb and drops Flit. No one accounted for that. Suddenly Kenzie left alone, the 1 versus 3. And Rawls will close out the job. Big plays from Fasha in the back lines. And not even FORZE were ready for that play.
Yeah, that was very nice there from Fasha. It looked like for Flit, he actually brought an advantage over from the T side. Bird from Sky almost had his crosshair locked towards the site itself rather than out from long. Flit's able just to slow walk in, but it's Fasha out from sort of the goose position that really holds down a very nice defense. And 3-3, we're tied up. FORZE are going quite quickly, at least for Kenzie, towards this Xbox position. We can have quite a game on our hands here very early on in this series, Jay.
Ooh. Or in the midst of the smoke, did I see the shadow? I think they do. They do get the kill in the end. Awkward switch from Jerry, taken down. Start things off, Kenzie dropped by Rylax towards the mid doors. Trade from Zorsey is good only for a frag. They're converging in on the B side though. They're not going to go for the split, but they're going to go out through tunnels. And there's only Rules here, past the smoke, backed up towards the corner. One player's walked out, Bombs making its way in. Rules just capitalizes on Flick, takes him down, swaps positions. Olmazer will get the trade together. And now the CT's on rotate from the A site are all that remain. 3 versus 2 for the retake.
Yeah, LYNGBY Vikings can slow this down now. They've got a fair bit of utility between them. They've got a couple of kits in play. And they've got the man advantage. Lurk smoke coming through from the doors. Al Mazo, he's getting aggressive about this.
Very close, right around the corner here. Is he going to get flashed into a peak? I think he might do. No, Zorti hasn't got any utility whatsoever. It says NATO with that kill. Olmazer strikes back, Fasher with a quick trade. And 2 CTs remain to get the round and the lead back together for the LYNGBY Vikings, 4-3. A decent effort there by the T side, but a little bit too overzealous when it came down to trying to get the aggression against the defensive, you know?
Yeah, look, you've got to think, though, they've got to make a play, right? Like, when you're... The B is one of those sites that certainly is winnable, even in a man disadvantage scenario, but without any utility and being down in 2v3, Almaza thinks he's got to make a play. He's got to be able to push forward, maybe try and see if they can get an advantage going forward, and, well, the aggression just doesn't quite work out, unfortunately, for FORZE. Only lands in that single trade. Even the buyback is looking very, very awkward. I think maybe even an eco could have been the better approach, but always in the back of your mind, you've got to remember, CIS teams, Jay, they love to get these shaky buys forward. They love forcing into buys like this. A couple of AKs and Deagles, there's not a massive amount for FORZE to work with.
Yeah, just these Deagles on 3 players, a couple of AKs that will bolster the buy. Smokes on to the site and onto the CT spawn entrance. But it is eerily quiet from FORZE at this moment. There's an M4 close to site. Ready to receive. Flashes go over as Jerry looks towards Carl, looks towards Ramp, but just can't see anything at all.
Yeah, lack of information, really, isn't it, for LYNGBY Vikings? And no one really aggressed out. Finally, some of the cross smokes coming through, so now it might be the idea that it is going to be an A play. Bird from Sky with that peak, he's going to see a lot out from long.
Quick rotations inbound. Molotov's going to try counteract here towards ramp control. Might force them forward or keep them held back. 25 seconds.
Ooh.
Molotov burning that AWPer. Bird from Sky is also going to go down real low, full towards Flair. That was really well placed utility there from the T side. for the hit. NATO watching, here they come. Rolls turns away, catches Kenty, drops that bomb, does damage to the next man. Rylax with the AWP. Now got to turn his attention towards two different sides of the site. Got out, just hold pressure. 5 seconds, they'll just get the bomb plant in time. NATO Savage will try to go for the wall bang, but it won't be successful. He's behind hard cover. 3v3 retake, making it 2 as Bert from Sky falls.
I think this has to be a save from LYNGBY, and yeah, they're backing off so damn quickly. They're getting out of there. What an execution from FORZE. When you think of how low the time is, when you think about the counter utility that came in towards the upper tunnels, and even Rao's pushing up so aggressively, it's like LYNGBY Vikings have got the perfect setup. They're playing 2 anchors at B, they've got NATO Suffix out from CT to try and deal with the wrap in through mid, but FORZE just get the entries in really quickly. They only allow Rylax to find 1 pick with that AWP before the swings start coming out, and even though the time is incredibly low, they sort of beat the rotations almost. The CTs try and peek in towards the doors area before some of that utility comes through to find that 3-on-2 advantage for the Ts. Well done from FORZE. And look, while some of the rounds have looked kind of scrappy from them, especially the ecos, like they've lost a lot of players, this looks so much more confident than what it did earlier against Ethereal and Dust 2.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the difference between this team and the team that played a 1 best-of-3 ago is so much more confident. Smokes down, flashes over into the long position is where FORZE will look to play. Bird from Sky with the M4 will lean up aggressive to try and catch them off. They're going to boost 1 player up towards the stack in that position. Oh, NATO! Landing directly on Flit. Flashed off, still getting the kill, still opening things up as meanwhile the short split comes through from the Ts.
Well, that's a start. And we've seen some pretty sick plays from him yesterday. Let's see if he can continue it. Fast play out from short. And look at the return from FORZE. Fasha's able to get a 1-for-1 trade out from long, but it looks like a bomb plant's coming in and they've taken control from the short position on the T side.
Yeah, Fasha's low towards long. Are they going to force the issue? Sure, I think they are. It goes down towards that cross angle, and the T's better be ready for this. 2 players total. Molotov going to try to throw them off. That will force them away. Hearing some damage come through, a re-smoke down that smart as anything. They're going to have to flash and force through. They have several pieces of utility that they can use. LYNGBY Vikings taking their sweet time about this, though. Finally flashes out, will force the T-side players away, but they can just back off towards the other side of the site. Zorti with a kill back on Rules. Trade back coming in from Fasha. Jerry with 1 and 2. Looking on for his triple. No, NATO will trade it back, but not enough time to get to the site. Kenty still standing, and FORZE will have 9. LYNGBY putting everything into the short control, and it did not work for them.
And the one thing that's really impressed me the most from FORZE in this Dust 2 game, Jay, is how they're easily able to waste time in the post plant. You see the way that LYNGBY Vikings bring everyone in from short. Jerry puts down a molly, then puts down a re-smoke, and then instead of fighting from short, they just back off. They fall back towards the side, try and get a little bit more cover, and just running down the clock incredibly low. LYNGBY Vikings just running out of time as well. 9-5 half of FORZE. Looking to try and get to double digits. Fast out from Jerry and Pet.
Oh, Jerry tapping through on Bert from Sky, taking that frag. Opening up the kill counts. Rylax also pushed forward the smoke that he's put up. Flashed also into the tunnels, realizing that there's no one out here. FORZE heavily stacked into the long position. 1 lurker out from mid. Could cut off rotations. Smokes forward. His roll's going to peek this. He's thinking about it. Fasha taken out towards that mid control. Resmoke back from the T and CT sides to get towards that cross position. And Rolls just can't find anything. Almas forces forward. Gets that kill. 5 versus 2. Looking real good.
Yeah, and even the lurk's been seen. Flick goes, yeah, no, there is someone coming behind. Maybe I'll just leave him for you. Like, I'm just going to sit here and try and lurk out. Come in late into the rounds, but the information's already gathered. This should be a really easy duel from Kensi or Zorti, and there it is. AWP connecting. Neno Suffix now in a 1 versus 5. Players all around him. Has heard the footsteps from someone behind to get that 1 kill, but that's all that he's going to get. Double digits, a 10th round up for FORZE. And when you think, Jay, they didn't win pistol or the anti-eco conversion, and they still get double digits on a T-side half, that's pretty impressive.
Again, contrasting to the earlier Dust 2, and they're looking so much more confident here for FORZE.
The one that was like almost 60 rounds.
Jeez. Well, partners at Hellcase do have some codes you can utilize. You don't have to play 60 rounds to get your hands on some 6 skins. Grab your discount and get what you deserve. Only at hellcase.com. And grab what you deserve in a pistol round for LYNGBY Vikings. They are trying to force the issue real quick into the long control. TK's up. 1 trade found by the CT Forces, and a 4 versus 2 has been established. 1 backstabbing player from Flick could be a bit of a problem. No one keeping their head on the swivel. Rawls is thinking about it. Zorti sees them, tries to line them up, and the USP in the backlines all capped off. 1 kill on Fasher. So much more to deal with. Tapping through the heads, gets 1 more kill. Can't flick back towards the site. The plant can be secured towards short easy.
If anyone you want in the clutch, it's got to be Flit here from FORZE. We've seen him in countless positions over the last few months like this. 1v2 in the pistol. Trying to see if he can isolate these picks, and Raul's just shoulder baiting out from the get right position. Oh, we did see him though. That's a little bit of information. Taps coming through. Flit finds another kill, but not before NATO Suffix peaks on the contact. LYNGBY Vikings just, and I mean just, get away with that pistol round. That was a 4-on-2 advantage for the T's at one point.
Yeah, FORZE are getting those trades together again. The backstabbing player was everything there for Flit. I think he got 3 kills in that round.
Yeah, it might have been a 1v4 actually.
I think it was actually, yeah. Must make sense, because you got to kill and pick, killing the player at long, and then the 2 players that were on site and short. So yeah, damage done decently, but LYNGBY coming up with an all-important pistol round to get them back into the game here, trying to equalize against FORZE. They've made the start. Got to go a little bit further onwards though.
Oh, nice tag coming through from Zorti. Nice early damage coming through from a couple of players on this T side, and even Jerry's looking like he wants to push forward. Almazer 2 out from Xbox, and Almazer's not even necessary. The first pick gets found for the CT side, and now they're going quickly for the long challenge. Oh, that's a big gap in that right-hand side.
Yes, 2 people have put the smokes down towards the left instead. Almazer comes up with a kill. Jerry almost lands on Fasher. Dets him very low. They also going to fall to Zorti actually, so 4 versus 2. And they're still pretty low on the both of the T-side players. So this is a good retake for FORZE. One that could come in real easy. If LYNGBY start to overextend, they're going to wait back in their passive positions. Covered off towards long, and still Flit boosted up finds both players. AKs recovered, and a round recovered as well by FORZE.
Yeah, like, I actually want to see LYNGBY Vikings not force here. When I think about how many T-side weapons now in CT control, they've got, what, 2 AKs and that Galil, even a FAMAS being upgraded from the scout from Zorti. With that bomb plant, you're not quite on double eco status. Ooh, those odds, though, they do look very, very juicy for the CIS side of FORZE. A 1.14 for them to be able to claim this map, so do make sure to get your bonus for the first deposit. Click on the banner below to get involved. And, well, LYNGBY Vikings, they weren't listening to me, Jay. They have decided to go for the force buy.
Rush B, here come the nades. Oh, forced away by utility put down by the CT Forces. Kenty takes a fair amount of damage for his trouble. Putting those HGs up initially, going to try and bait in CT Forces, going to push them back over to the mid control. There's a lot of players that are watching this angle. Only 1 out from the B doors. Incendiary is up to stop them. Flashes do go over the T's. Press forward. Flit blinded away. Nade close towards one of the Mac 10s of Fasher. That bomb can get dropped real quick. He's going to go for the safe plant. And there's Rolls with the first kill of the round. Mac 10 in on Flit. And now it's retake mode.
Oh, what a start from LYNGBY Vikings. Double pump set up in towards that B side. Rotates have come in really, really quickly, though. And there's a lot of utility. More nade damage coming in.
Works on towards the B doors. Last piece of utility used for the T side. Still flashes that they can try and get into sight with for FORZE. And they're going to back off. They're going to save their weapons. Well, you advised against LYNGBY Vikings' best interest, it seems, Tweg. The Mac 10 rush working wonders for them as FORZE just trying to look for the exit, but it will be a 7th round for the T side. Jerry getting 3 frags. Trying to make it a quadra? Yes, he does. So heavy damage sustained by LYNGBY Vikings, but they do manage to hold the round.
Yeah, I would have really praised myself if FORZE won that round. But anyway, look, it works out nicely. They rush into that B site, and FORZE play really passive at B. Like, rather than having someone towards backplat or car, instead, sort of both players are kind of outside of the site, trying to get some util forward in terms of the nades. But LYNGBY Vikings just kind of rush forward. They get a great opening kill with that Mac 10. They did lose a lot of players in the end, though, which does kind of make the buy not fantastic, and it does allow another instant reset to come through for the T's. And the long challenge is coming in from both sides.
Oh, that's an ugly amount of damage. FORZE going 2 for 2 on the trades with significant done still to Bird from Sky and NATO Savix, but they can't follow suit on the kills. So close to taking that player out. He falls back out of Longhouse. Meanwhile, Kenzie does get Rylax, one of the last players that remained on 100 HP. And now it's just Bird from Sky and NATO. Not even a full set of rifles, just one AK on Bird from Sky, and he's going to be pressed down by the likes of Kenzie. He's already pushed forward and takes that dome headshot immediately out, and Bird had no idea of that.
I honestly love CIS Counter-Strike sometimes. Like, what is Kenzie doing? Like, they've already got 3v2. Rather than just playing passive on the B side, he's thinking to himself, nah, I'm just going to aggress in the upper tunnels. They're not going to expect this at all. And NATO Safix even gets charged down by Jerry. That was so risky. So damn risky from Kenzie. If he falls, it's 2v2, B's open. But sometimes that's the plays that I like to see from FORZE and I like to see from CIS teams. It is unorthodox. It is risky, but if it pays off massively.
And right now it's paying off in troves, 12-7. 5 rounds the difference. 4 to go to the victory for the CT side. And a force back from LYNGBY that could put them even closer as well. Not just to 13, but also to 14 perhaps. How will the Danish core be able to deal with the FORZE side? Starting to lose significant control here on T. They need to find some sort of response. They're going out towards short. The bomb can make its way in. They can go for the hit.
Yeah, Zorti's going to have to pull his attention over from long to this short play. Tapping away, Flitz struggling to be able to find this pick. Finally deals with the in-game leader of Bird from Sky and gets more information too. Spots that bomb. This is a lot of info gained from Flair.
Taps through. Finding nothing. Incendiary's up in a 5-on-4 scenario. Smokes down towards CT, flashes over. Rawls going to try to get the entries together for his teammates. P250 drops down towards the CT spawn. Jerry reads it, so does Zorti, coming up with 2 kills, making it 1 player left now. And Rylax falls the same for the AUG. No bomb plant for LYNGBY Vikings on a force buy. That also means no buy.
Yeah, look, things are just getting out of hand pretty quickly for LYNGBY Vikings. They haven't been able to get a strong economy at all. You look at what happened in terms of the rounds in the second half. They won pistol, lost the anti-eco, won the force buy, and now it's been 2 in a row from FORZE without a bomb plant. 13-7, LYNGBY Vikings. I don't know how you make this more competitive, really, Jay. Like, I don't want to say they're out of it already, but like FORZE are so close to their 16th and they're playing so strong. We're seeing the kill distribution look fantastic for this team. Yeah, maybe Zorti hasn't had that much of a high impact game, but he hasn't really had the AWP in his hands all too often. He's been on the scout for the most part. Look at like the players between Almazer and Jerry. They're all sort of sitting on the like 17, 16, 14 mark. It's so close between one another, where LYNGBY Vikings, it's not the same story there.
Molotov's burning. So much damage done with the opening kill. M4 the lineup 3. Almazer gets it in the end. Not even a challenge here for the CT side. LYNGBY rushing straight into decimation and now will get the buyback. This will be their last buy in this one. However, LYNGBY need to turn this around against FORZE soon.
Yeah, maybe take another one of those tactical pauses. I think they've got, what, 1 of them left, I want to say, over for the T side. There's not many. And there is a lot of AKs up for FORZE up. They're not investing into the AWP just yet for Zorti. A missed CT smoke, so they'll have to get it again to cross out from mid. They're just running out their default LYNGBY Vikings. Almazer paying very close up towards the mid doors.
First kill found by Almazer here in this round. FORZE methodically picking apart the LYNGBY Vikings, and you wonder how much fuel's left in the tank for this Danish core, at least in this map. And I think that this performance from FORZE changes the complexion of what this series could be. LYNGBY.
Yeah, it does.
Taken back to school, if you will, and well, this is looking like a much better team than we saw earlier today.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. This is really what I wanted to see from FORZE, and it looks great. And dealing with this gun round even better too. Zorti just playing out from pit, not really overextending at all. Finally just getting some jiggle peeks forward. Does lose the fight onto Rylax. Fashion might be seen on the edge of the smoke. Jerry is very aggressive about his approach.
No idea about it though. Fasher still remaining in his position, not detected, not fired upon. Rylax does come up with a kill on Jerry. 3 versus 3. Flit ready and waiting. Gonna bait it. Doesn't see Fasher. We'll see NATO though. That bomb drops. Spray continues. They don't check their corners. And Fasher will fight hard to bring it back. But 10 seconds left to get these 2 kills, get the bomb back. Will get the secondary frag. But his opponent just knows he needs to stay alive. And still gets the frag regardless. So 15 to the board, Forza. Map point on Dust 2. 8 map points for LYNGBY to deal with. And the buy is going to be so broken.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cash. They needed that bomb plant, and look, don't check your corners. That's what's going to happen. Really great trigger discipline there from Flit, and the smokes from the T side actually help him out massively on the cross, because maybe the short player would have seen him, but before those smokes go down, he's blinded off, playing towards the upper tunnels, coming out for the T side. Oh, look at the play from Jerry though.
Spray up for Kenzie. Jerry makes his way in the back lines, and those 2 players combine to rip them all apart. In a matter of 2 seconds, the match falls apart for LYNGBY Vikings as Rules fights on Flit, but Flit frags him out and secures a 16-7 result for Forza. Wow.
Answer for you, Jay, but this was a completely different looking Forza in that first map of the series than what we've seen for like the past few days.
Absolutely, and for that reason, it's time to be concerned for LYNGBY Vikings. Will they hold their own in this second map? Will they be able to take us to a third? We're finding out that the pistol round, not wasting any time for Forza. Zorti getting on towards Bird from Sky, doubling and tripling up, making it a quadra. On for the A's!
No
yes,
way.
he can secure it! Oh, that's one hell of a start for the CT side.
Well, and that's why they pay him the big bucks, Jay. Gets signed over from Ethereal and does this in the qualification game for the playoffs. One more map for Forza to do it, and the taps for the ace in the pistol to start off, Nuke. My goodness, what a performance to start off from Zorti. What else can you say?
Shocking them into a pause. LYNGBY absolutely ripped apart. Massive ace for Zorti. And just, what do you do off the back of that? You just kind of ripped apart, now down to the force buy. Seen the Mat 10s work for them in the rush tactics previously, but we've seen how the rushes work out here on Dust 2 and not too well for the Viking side.
Yeah, the Dust 2 rushes were a bit hit and miss. I think that on Nuke, though, they were a little bit more successful. Certainly those upper hits looked pretty good in the games yesterday. Maybe trying to do exactly what they said in the pistol. Going fast out towards a ramp control, actually, where Kenzie's got a lot of pressure to him. Resmokes down. Zorti now starting to come in on the rotate, but with that molly coming down towards him, he decides to back off rather than push forward.
Flashes on as they make their way around towards the hell position. Zorti with that kill found first, damage on the second, eventually doubles up with the frag counts. And Rules of Fasher will get a couple of kills to return, but yeah, NATO falling, Fasher. Last player left in towards the site, the bombs in CT controls. This should be a lockout defensive here from Forza.
Nice and confident. That force by really not finding too much success outside of just a couple of kills, so it's going to have to be a relatively harsh eco to follow. A 2900 loss bonus, no bomb plant coming in from either the first or second round. And Forza only losing a couple of players, so they probably get some more SMGs forward, try and farm up some more cash. And try and get Zorti on that big green gun as quickly as possible. Probably be Kenzie the one to drop him over, considering he's the one with the most money. But we'll have to wait and see how that pans out once we get into the opening rifle. Bit of a throwaway round, a light eco for the T side.
Nades on, trying to do some damage early from the CT forces. Not going to happen to break open the squeak door, I believe was the initial sort of idea there. Rush out from the pistols. Armors are caught off guard. SMG still close towards the site. Zorti and Flit cleaning house. And LYNGBY Vikings going fast every single round here, trying for these quick A pops. To their credit, they worked pretty well against Forza, but now the CT seems to have adjusted against it, comparatively to that first best of one. So yeah, LYNGBY can't really take the same approach they did in the start of the group stage. And now with the rifles out, let's see what they try and adjust.
I think Almaze has got to be careful he doesn't get caught off. He just had his knife out when they started running through from Hut, so maybe having a little bit of a stronger rock in towards that floor position for the upper bomb site take. LYNGBY Vikings going in for the outside smokes. Now, one thing we saw from them yesterday when they played Nuke was when they go through the outside smokes, they actually push forward of it really quickly. We didn't see many kind of fake plays with those outside. They normally just commit with it. And Flit's just getting pushed forward and opening a chance for the CT side actually goes the way of the T side.
And frag found easy. Hell of a start here for the LYNGBY side, and contrasted that to how easily they've been shut down by FORZE so far in this matchup is definitely in a good way to get yourselves back in control. AK watching the roof position, expecting someone to push forward of it. Brace through, Kenzie will get rules next to face. 4 versus 4. Still got a player in garage. 2 of them actually in garage at this moment. Eventually Fasher will find the trade together to maintain a man advantage for LYNGBY.
They don't know about the secret player at all. NATO Safix pre-aiming it. Almazer and Zorti now need to really try and work together to bring back a 2v4. Does not look good at all for the City side. Timing. Ooh, Rylax falls in lobby and Zorti's in heaven. Trying to see if he can get back over. If they split towards A, this could be a chance of FORZE. Time's low and they're dropping lower.
They can all the noise, but the CTs can't particularly hear it. Almaza might catch them off now with the Molotov that goes down towards the vents area, but do they even want to go for this retake? FORZE took a lot of damage the last couple of rounds, last round especially. They are making their way into the ramp room, so it seems like they do want to try their hand at this for the moment. Very carefully positioned, but they are moving up. Almaza with the M4, leaning in first, looking to the back lines, does not see the player. Does see Fasher. Fasher takes him down. And now it's all after 1 in Zorti. Backing up out of position. The AWP has got to get away. Save this weapon because there is no way he's winning the retake. And LYNGBY will have their first at the T-side line.
Well, they're trying to hunt down this AWP. That's a really important kill from Bird from Sky. We saw that he was playing around that secret area in the post plant and in through vents. Quick rotate up, make sure the AWP can't be saved in. And FORZE are in a bit of money trouble here. AWP being brought down. Ooh. Those are as even as possible, Jay. 1.87 for both sides from Paramatch. Do make sure to get your bonus for the first deposit. Click on the banner below to see how you can get involved. A special 100% bonus on your deposit for certain regions. So do check forward to see if your region is one of them. Way back in for the T side.
Yeah, the buyback from FORZE are not looking fantastic. The AWP Zorti, the M4 coming through from Jerry, peeking forward of that smoke towards the red box cross. Gets shut down for it. Fasher with the trade. 4-on-4 scenario again. That M4 out of play for the CT camp, so it's a worse trade for them than it is for the LYNGBY side. That D gonna fit, trying to find some sort of response, but 3 fired shots, all of them missing against Fasher. Falls back to site. Meanwhile, the lobby commitment looking to come through from LYNGBY.
Nice tap up to do a lot of damage onto Rouse, but it's still the man advantage now being found for LYNGBY Vikings, and Zorti's playing in the side with the AWP. Oh, they almost line up, but he still connects through with the AWP, looking to go back over to the pistol, looking to try and get some assistance as they push him from ramp on the CT side. Zorti now dealt with, back to the 2v2.
Kenzie looking up with the Deagle, catches rules in the back, and now NATO's left alone, the bomb on his back, getting out of dodge, back down into the B side. They can grab these 2 rifles and converge in on him to try and counteract. He almost gets locked by the door and plants over the decon. That buys an extra few seconds for the CTs to get to position here.
Yeah, smoke down towards double doors, try and see if he can isolate some of these picks, and both players coming in from very similar angles. He's looking to get aggressive.
Is the door open? I don't think it is. Busting open the window. NATO waiting for a flash. Open up, quick scope lands to Flit. And now up against Kenzie in a 1 versus 1. The defuse kit's on him. No smoke. Molotov can put down, but he's going to stick it like Olofmeister. AWP still swings and gets the kill, and NATO just recovers the round. But FORZE with just Eagles out doing a ton of damage. It's a shame it was a force buy because they won't be able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, look, that was really well played from Zorti, just trying to defend for as long as possible. Kenzie could have maybe backed him up a bit quicker. I thought he was a little bit too slow to push in from ramp. And just a really well played 1 versus 2 coming out from NATO Safix. Bomb tries to get just straight defused. And FORZE Well, they're not going to try their hand at forcing again. Just going to be a light eco. So we should see the scores tied up between the two sides.
Ooh, tap from Kenzie, able to capitalize on a kill here towards the ramp entrance, but going no further than just that one frag. 2-for-1 trades, of course. USP is out for the most part. P250s and a couple players. Zorti might try and grab one of those upgrade pistols. Bomb yet to commit for LYNGBY. Very quiet across the map. Other than those first couple of engagements, there's been really no contact established here.
Yeah, you've got to think from FORZE, any damage is good damage. They've already got that first pick on a Rylax. If they can somehow kind of sandwich in a bit of a bait play to find another, then even better. LYNGBY Vikings getting off to a slow start in this T side, but now starting to get some rounds together. Going to help some of the confidence levels too, I think, from their AWP player of NATO Suffix, who didn't really have the best of games on Dust 2, but I suppose really no player from LYNGBY Vikings really showed up massively on that map. A nice clutch coming out from them. And now just clearing up the upper bomb site and seeing, well, it's completely clear.
And nothing out. Bomb plant open for main. No one facing from heaven or the rafters. Flit taking some damage to 19 points of health. Armors are next to fall to Fasher on the outside control. Not saving much here, FORZE. I'm surprised they haven't tried to stack in towards heaven and trust if we can get some exit frags on the players that are on the site itself, but it is what it is. It's not going to be around for FORZE regardless. I don't think that if they did try and go for that, they'd probably get traded. It's all about just taking some exits. And no such opportunities will present themselves here in these positions in round 6. We'll go 3-all, and the guns will come back for the CT side.
I really don't know why they didn't even try and look for some exits. I mean, maybe they're thinking that there's a MAC-10 in play because the economy is ruined, but obviously we know there isn't. Maybe that's the reason why. But yeah, I thought that maybe just looking for some exits and just sort of diving down and maybe even hoping that one of the players goes out for the bomb if he could do some damage. But anyway, we will wait to see to get the rifle round forward into round 7. Not a lot of utility here from FORZE and a couple of kits in play. I am glad that even with a limited money line, there are kits on this city side rather than trying to just get all the util with no kits.
Jerry on the outside, pressing forward for the CT forces. Could they catch him off? Well, Zorti's going to support here into heaven, take out one player in Bird from Sky, crossing back, one could get dropped, two could line up, he only gets the one frag. 2-for-1 trades. Fasher is still very low HP, so he set up his teammates for the victory here.
Yeah, that was a great bait outside. Zorti getting a nice angle from heaven and then just Jerry peeking with him. Unfortunate to maybe not find that secondary kill onto Fasher, but doing a lot of damage. Zorti just hugging the wall out from lockers. NATO Suffix, if he slow peeks into this, should have the advantage with the NWP. It doesn't quite adjust in time. Looking up towards heaven, and now Fasher. 1 versus 4. Zorti getting more kills. You know what's crazy, Jay? He's had more kills in 7 rounds of Nuke than he did on the entire map of Dust 2. He only got 11 kills on that first map in which they went 16-7 up.
That's scary for LYNGBY Vikings.
Yeah.
On their CT side, it's going to start looking good for them for the moment. Good stuff posted up. M4's out for Jerry, spraying through on a fast rush tactic. Flick's going to get caught up in the rafters. Still gets some decent damage in. Armors are holding back alongside Zorti. Zorti traded, but Armors are still in the hot position. Drops that bomb, looks for the 3K, can't quite make it happen. Rules will trade to a 2 versus 2 as Bird from Sky gets that bomb picked up. Planted, Rules still goes down though. And swing back from Kenzie will get the final kill back in over on the hut position. So well coordinated there from FORZE. Nothing too flashy, just holding those trades together for a 5-3 scoreline once again.
I think that's really important too from FORZE, not overthinking things. I think something that we saw from them over the course of maybe the previous best of 3 and even from them yesterday was maybe just trying to get too ahead of themselves. But right there, just really simple retake coming in, good crossfires being set between the two. LYNGBY Vikings getting a bomb plant, which is going to help them get a bit of a buy forward, but it's a bit of an awkward force, isn't it? Because, you know, there are some players that brought down to nothing, but there's also some players that have almost taken this as an eco.
Yeah, not on the same page for this one, LYNGBY. I think there's a couple of times from this team when they're going in for the heavy rounds, and some players are just like, actually, I want to go pistol without Kevlar, or just half buy into a, just down to 1,000 or 1,500. Either way, it's just going to be whatever LYNGBY can do with these upgrade pistols and the MAC-10s. There's an AK for Royals as well. Same can be said for the City side, though. They've got 2 AKs in play, in fact. And LYNGBY working off minimal map control, putting the smokes down towards the outside. There's a big gap in that red box cross, though.
Yeah, they've got to make sure that even in a round like this, they're getting a bomb plant. Like, there's not a lot of loss bonus here, Jay. So if they don't get a bomb plant, then the buy is actually going to look very awkward going into round 10. In for those outside smokes, a little bit of a gap, and FORZE don't see anything with it. Now start to peek out Kenzie from ramp. He could be overwhelmed. There's a lot of T-side presence in lobby.
Flash at the ready. As soon as he sees someone, he's just going to flash back, try and see if he can get himself out of dodge here towards the ramp entrance. Sees that shoulder, and yeah, he escapes. Falls back to the B-bomb site. AWP can swing forward and try to see if he can find anything. And he finds a hell of a lot more than just one frag collateral on NATO, and Fasha peek back in. Rylax in a challenge with 20 seconds left. LYNGBY's got to force the issue on this player, and they're about to beat himself up to the frag count. Zorti will eventually go down. AWP picked up, and Rolls turns up on Almazo, so 3 versus 3, but 10 seconds left. That bomb's making its way towards outside. So long as Flick gets this kill, it will be enough, and they don't even offer it up to him. 2 seconds after time frag. No, it just goes down beforehand. But Orphan Bird from Sky left alone to stand by. And LYNGBY Vikings, very, very awkward take there.
I'm just confused, Jay. Like, the buy in that last round, now that they don't have money, like Rylax is on 2,500, Rouse is on 2,800. Like, even if they got a bomb plant, the buy still would have been shaky. I don't know. I'm not getting a good vibe about sort of how the economy situation is being handled here by LYNGBY Vikings. And they're going to maybe take a tactical to kind of discuss things. Like, I thought that even for Zorti, like, even though he got a collateral, like, he played that so well. He just wastes time, tries to fall back. Yeah, maybe he doesn't find that 3rd kill. Maybe he doesn't hit the hard shot, but the time is so low that instead of just going up from hell to heaven, they end up trying to wrap main, and then there's just no time. LYNGBY Vikings, it just doesn't look like they're as confident as they were yesterday. Was that just their day where it was a good one? You know, even though they didn't win over Sprout that best of 3, it was incredibly close. I'm just getting worried that it was like a bit of a one-off performance, Jay.
Concerns me if that's the case, because we saw some ridiculous stuff from them, but from an individual basis, and again, some very solid counter-striking show. But Fasha, trying to get solid of his own right, takes out Jerry to start things off. A great drive-by, but no smokes to that outside, offers up NATO suffix in trade. So a 4-on-4, and only one player makes his way down through Secret. Kenzie try to isolate that kill back on Fasha. They know that the window got opened up. AK swing in, wins that fight on 1, but Rylax falls before Kenzie does. So now they're crunching towards lobby. Deagle from Bird from Sky can get a frag back. No double up on the M4, split up against the AK, and Balls can trade it back to a 1 versus 2 now. All left to Zorti with its AWP in play, coming in from the ramp control. The bomb can make its way towards the A-bomb site.
Yeah, drop down lower, I think, makes the most amount of sense, though. They know that they have had Zorti towards that heaven position, and Fasha's already been able to get a couple of kills towards that outside control. Just making sure he jumps towards the bottom end of that ladder. 1v2 in for Zorti. This is entirely winnable. He's been putting up some big numbers so far.
Oh, not ready for Rolls to be so close towards the position, though. The kill comes in. The AWP drops. And LYNGBY do have a 4th. Looked a little bit better from them. A couple of awkward trades coming in from them. However, FORZE could have forced the issue back. Speaking of forcing, they're forcing the buyback here on round 11. The Eagles out, Fama's in. The money's very, very low, so it's kind of double eco status for them. No M4s, no AWPs, no SMGs, hand cannons and downgrade rifles. And I think LYNGBY, they were initially going to look to go towards the fast play out towards Squeakies. Then it's fast play towards Spence, or Rams, I should say. 2 for 1. Jerry getting kills back together. Fama for Kenzie. He's going to force the fall back.
A decent hold so far out from ramp, just a straight rush from LYNGBY Vikings. Unfortunately for Outmazer, if maybe he fell a little bit further down, they might not have expected another play, and Fasha has really looked on point now on this T side. He is starting to find some very, very nice entries. He's been spotted out from Flip, but still, there's an opportunity for the LYNGBY Vikings to just peek together onto Flip. The NWP coming through. Fasha again, getting another kill. That's his 3rd in the round.
Kind of giving up at the CTs that were there towards ramp. Now Alma's downstairs in the observation windows. None of them have been busted open yet, so he's going to have to give away his position if he wants to rotate from ramp. He could make his way back in from the vents or through secret. It will take some time to do so, though, and unfortunately for him, LYNGBY Vikings are going up into the A bomb site, so this is going to be a retake up for him. No kit, no utility. How does he want to play this? Does he even want to play this?
It's tough. He might just want to save, maybe try and go for it, considering it's a force. 1v2. Vent has been popped open at least. A bit of an avenue into the site, making a little bit of noise. That's going to be heard from the hut player, Fasha. So they've got info on where he is. 1v2 from Almeza gets even more difficult from here. Still a bit of utility for the T side to work with that they haven't used as of yet. Fasha swinging out to the open, but they swing together with Rylax, and the Danes start to put some rounds up and some pressure on this T side.
The odds at power match do still favour FORZE, a slight lead, a single round differential. LYNGBY Vikings unable to get that confidence going, so still got to work to get themselves back in control. And pistols out for FORZE in this round means that there's going to be not really much that they can do in this one. Fast rush out from LYNGBY. The Eagle to spam through. Zorti going to be allowed a kill as a result of this. And not one for nothing trade. Maybe even a bit more. Look at where Jerry is here inside this fence position. Leo has no idea that he's like an inch away from a player.
He gets an AK. Well, there it is. He's trying to go down the vents to get the AK, and NATO Sapphics could potentially be swung on. Now, for an eco, if they can get another kill and another AK, that would be great. They know where NATO Sapphics is. They could try and charge him down, but he just sneaks into the vent, so they shouldn't be able to find the trade. Zorti has found another kill with a USP.
Why not? Finally gets shut back down, though. I don't think they can get towards that AK, unfortunately. Or maybe Flip might try his hands at getting a kill on NATO Sapphics. If you can find rules, that'll be the most ideal situation. Hold on. Oh! Yeah, they get him. They get him. That's damage done on the eco. Even if they can't save the AK, that's fine. Jerry's actually going to go hunting for NATO Sapphics. He goes up with the bomb, unfortunately, so not to be. But yeah, 3 players worth down. It was an eco round from FORZE, mostly kills on USPs. And the investment from the CT side will start to contest.
That was like the lightest of ecos, and they get away with so much. Unfortunately, they don't hold on to the AK, but you can't win them all. 6-6, a lot more competitive now coming out on Nuke. And FORZE up, really struggling to get a buyback. No AWP potential up for Zorti. Another rush might come through for a vent dive.
Straight out of the gate, AK completely flash blinded from NATO Sapphics. They're not going to capitalize on that kill, though. Checking up the hot position, Zorti with the kill. Armors on the back of the site. Zorti ends up falling. Fasher and Bird from Sky with those trades to keep it at a 3 versus 3. LYNGBY Vikings now going back to the back lines. Fasher will get dealt with. There's a kill back from Kenzie. One player moving in. Kenzie doubles up instead. It's all left to Rylax now. Bomb in the open. Nice nade on towards one. Tags up Kenzie to 8 points of health. But Jerry's not messing around. Swings and hits and gets that kill. FORZE reclaim the lead.
Oh, I love the play-in towards lobby from FORZE. So they get a couple of early trades. It goes to a 3-on-3. We're seeing a bit of an outside play of a backstab. And then we're even seeing a bit of a crunch come in from Kenzie pushing aggressively in through lobby. And it sort of gives LYNGBY Vikings the read that maybe there's only one player getting aggressive in lobby when in fact it's actually 2. Now the lead going back and forward of both teams, Jay. That's been a back and forth kind of map, really.
Yeah, FORZE have held their own. But LYNGBY Vikings can't hold their money, unfortunately. They're being very severely damaged in that last round, meaning that the economy has been broken. The buy is awkward. They do find a 1-for-1 trade towards the outside control. A bit of an overextension from Jerry. They does find that first frag, but responded to in whole. And several more CT players start swinging to the outside positions, hoping to control against LYNGBY Vikings. Could be a quick play in from the Squeaky Door if they're not careful. Armors has been seen right there. Smoke does go down. He pushes forward. Other catches that player with utility in his hand. So man advantage goes back the way of the CT side.
A really important trade from Almeza because the defense is looking pretty weak on that top side. Ooh, a nice shot coming in from Bird from Sky onto Zorti. Flip those with the swing. Should be able to catch him off from Secret. Oh, great timing on that.
Now 2 standing for LYNGBY Vikings against the 3 of FORZE. Players downstairs as well in the corridors. 30 seconds remaining. They are making their way back into hell here from the T side, making no noise about it. They've basically got a direct line in, but they're going to go towards ramp. That's where Kenzie's holding from. Gets Nate, just having the drop swing back on the second man. Rules will get his kills together, and there's players in the upper and lower bomb sides. Rules faking it out, but they've got Almaza already towards the A play. AK in check position, taps and bursts through, but Almaza wins the fight and secures the half for Forza.
I'm really impressed by both Kenzie and Zorti. Like, these guys are young and don't have a lot of experience playing at this kind of a level. And do make sure to obviously check out our great case partners, though, in hellcase.com. A couple of codes to use up on screen to get a little bit extra cash injection and a 15% refill bonus. Open up some nice cases from all different price ranges to get some really sick skins. But, I mean, when you think about it, Jay, like, they've been playing, like, a little bit of Tier 2, mostly Tier 3 for their careers, and they're starting to look really decent over the last couple of days.
Oh, Jerry. Look at Jerry. Spraying through against his opposition here. The CT is going to press forward. Look at the AKs. They will get taken out by Fashion. Not expecting that player to be out towards Secret. Rylak tries to go for the vent dive, and he ends up losing his life. 2-for-1 trades. Jerry's on 3 points of health, so the T's have done at least a decent amount of damage, but here in his position, wraparounds will come through. Kenzie will be watching from the vents, from the ramp control. 2 CTs, the wrap back over towards Heaven, because LYNGBY Vikings can still make their way in from A main.
Look, this is such a sick read from Forza. They cleared out lobby, so they can bring the majority of their players to that lower bomb site. Jerry could just jiggle peek out from sort of trophy and lobby. And then you're right about that split through main. Zorti with the AWP catching off the player from Secret. It's now just down to 2, and Fash is incredibly low on the HP.
We 5-2 the clock. Smoke's down at the cross position here on the B bomb site. Nate Osafix still working down towards the double doors. When do they press forward? When do they strike? 30 seconds remaining. Burst up from Kenzie. Can't find these players. The Eagle of Fasha moving up to the back lines. Can secure the bomb plant from here. The window does get opened up. They're going to try and isolate some kills, I think, on CT players, though. No, bomb plant is just going to get secured from here. 4 versus 2. Tough ask here for the Vikings.
Yeah, it's got to be NATO Safix. He's got to be the one to do something, and he's actually sitting in his own smoky through from ramp. There are so many players around him, but it depends on how many kills he can find.
Spray through, connects only 1. Damage to the second, and now Fasha with 7 points of HP. Deagle standing, has let 2 players cross. Window is opened up. Bomb's not planted for him, though. Sees Zorti, takes him down. They're going to stick it. No, they're going to the bomb instead. Smokes back. Kenzie gets that frag together, and the defuse is stuck by the CT side to get the knife to close out their CT half. Good effort there from the likes of NATO Safix, but unfortunately not able to do much damage except for the low HP player. And the CT half goes the way of the Russian core. Continuing to look good off the back of the Dust 2 result. And LYNGBY Vikings map pick falls out of their favor going into their CT half. Let's see whether they can turn this around.
The symmetry on the rounds is fantastic. It's 3 in a row from Forza, then 3 in a row from LYNGBY, then 3 in a row from Forza, then 3 in a row from LYNGBY, then 3 in a row from Forza. Like, it doesn't get much more perfect than that. It's been a very momentum-based game. Both teams really hammering each other's economy down, but it's got to come to the pistol. LYNGBY Vikings need something to go their way in this second half early on.
Diffuse kit and smoke on Bird from Sky, the Ninja setup. Double flash and smoke. Oh, sorry, single flash smoke and P250. That Kenzie's dropped over towards Zorti. Playing Raid Boss in this one for good reason for Forza. He's been a fantastic individual. 21 kills in that first half. Now we'll look to try and become the main entity in this one. Blokes down on main. Almaza with this Glock. We're going to be the forward facer for Forza. Jerry sees contact. The lobby crunch is attempted to push forward, at least from the ramp control. Not quite towards the A side. There's actually nobody here on A. It's Bird from Sky up at Heaven that's got to deal with the entire T side force.
Yeah, he's got to adjust quickly, and he doesn't expect it at all. Alme's actually the wallbang shots from underneath find that first pick, and they're even expecting the wraparound play to come through. Great trades coming back and forth. The bomb gets dropped, though. NATO Safix is continuing to do damage. It's a 2v2. They bypass each other on the ladder, and now Flitz in a 1 versus 1.
Absolute manic chaos there on the ladder and the Heaven Hell positions. Bombs on the back of Flit, though. He can make his way into the A site, or he can wrap around from main. Also could go through ramp, but 25 seconds. His options are now limited by going towards the outside. Rylax thinks he might have just gone towards the B play, but he's walking in towards A main, going to check all his corners and get this plant in. Rylax can make his way back from heaven. Here's that bomb plant coming in. Is it A or is it B? It's definitely A. Rylax should know about this, can grab that kit. Now moves in, Flit, where does he check? Oh, not squeaky, the vent gets popped open. Rylax on the bomb, gonna try to stick it from hard cover. Just gets the position, taps it once at the very least, forces Flit to peek in, and that knife knows that he's facing out wide. Now he's gonna go back to the full defuse at this stage. Got a swing, got a hit for Flit.
Oh!
No, Rylax just executes with severe prejudice. A simple tap to the head, and LYNGBY have the pistol.
Oh, think of the confidence level from Rylax. He has really struggled over the course of this first half, Jay, and he's come up exactly when needed. A lovely, lovely clutch coming through. That was so chaotic out from the hell position and the heaven ladder. But look, the clutch comes through. Great shot comes out. He's got the kit in play. FORZE force buying, though. A bomb plant and 4 kills. They're going to try and get those rifles in straight away.
Straight up. 2 SMGs still in for Rolls and Co, however. LYNGBY Vikings. A couple limitations on there by FORZE, of course, with that bomb plant bonus. Zorti. AWP in tow, the smokes go down. And flashes go over. AUG of NATO Safix forced out. Not quite catching any vision. Will burst through. Try look for a kill back on towards 1. There's so low HP for the T-side line. Zorti still comes up with a frag on NATO, so that's something going the way of the FORZE side.
I'm kind of surprised that Zorti peaked in that aggressively, considering how low he is. Now Fasher trying to go for a play. Look how low this T-side is, Jay. You have got players down to just low numbers, but at least they turn it back to a 3 versus 3 now.
Flit still on 13, Zorti on 6, and Kenzie was on 16 before he went falling. Still super low HP across the FORZE board. LYNGBY Vikings are higher, but they're also all tagged up. So it kind of balances out with Jerry being at 100. This round all comes down to who faces who and when they do. Jerry's going to lead the charge in from the B site as a result here. He's the man that can soak up the most amount of HP. Need to get off on the kill first and foremost, and all 3 CTs are back here up on the A bomb site. One player's making his way in from lobby as they realize they're not even going to go here. We'll grab some of the rifles that was dropped here on the CT side. Hearing footsteps, the bomb plant is secured.
Post plant coming in from FORZE, and you wonder how a player like Zorti and Flit are going to be able to reposition themselves, considering that they've got so little HP and so much utility. Everyone in from ramp on the retake.
Tap through, Flit gets Rylax, nade back from Bird from Sky, gets Flit to return, 2-on-2. Jerry playing dangerously close towards that Molotov. He is high HP though, quick kill, and he swings back on Rolls. Good shot with the scout as Zorti to back up his man, and FORZE force the rounds.
They win the force buy. What I like too is the repositioning from Jerry. So the CTs molly off that dark position, and then Jerry's not playing in dark, but then as soon as there's a bit of a gap and it starts to fade away, he actually starts moving back forward, not expecting the LYNGBY Vikings are going to check that area. And it was the scout play too from Zorti that not only found that trade onto NATO Safix, but was involved in the very, very late post plant. Force buy back for LYNGBY Vikings. I mean, when you compare the buy, it looks awful.
Eagles, P250s and CZs. The CZ is the only automatic weapon they have. FORZE are absolutely fine though. They've got AKs aplenty. 4 of them in play off the back of that last round. Bird from Sky sees 2 players, lines up the Deagle, shots and takes them down though. Flash in. Completely blinding them off, allowing the kills to come back easy for the pistols, and maybe FORZE might not be quite as lucky as I'd like to think, though. Jerry does get a one-tap on Fasher. There is a trade in tow.
Yeah, they need some more trades, though. They need some more entries. Flit outside, or Zorti outside, I should say, taking even more damage. So far, this force buy has looked very good from LYNGBY Vikings. They put a big emphasis on trying to maintain outside control. Bird from Sky's already been able to find a couple of kills and could be on to swing for a third.
NATO tagged up 23 points of HP for him. Still got Bird from Sky swinging. NATO Sapphics finally ends up falling. Deagle on the crossfire. Bird from Sky taking pressure. Zorti seen by Rules. He misses his shot. And Bird from Sky finally isolated. Still not taken down. Flits low. And Zorti with a very aggressive and dangerous peek. 15 seconds though. The outside players have stalled for time. Rylax is in the corner. Rules is incoming now. They've got to take this position right now. They've got to get this kill real quick. He drops the bomb and gets the second. That's going to secure the round. Flick can get the trade. But Rules is to stay alive, and that will be enough. Oh, Forza spent so much time playing the outside presence, and they suffer because of it there.
Yeah, look, just a really nice couple of engagements, really. Couple of nice duels from LYNGBY Vikings, but it was this play in particular from Rylax playing out towards a closed vent, and you could see that they anticipated it. Forza tried to preempt, tried to at least trade him, but they just weren't able to do so. Time is incredibly low. Flit ends up dealing with that last player to make sure everyone goes down from that city side, but we're going back and forth. Another tactical now being used by Forza, and don't tell me the odds are the same again, Jay!
At this stage, who knows where it could go? Who knows where it could go? LYNGBY and Forza keeping pace. Forza pulling ahead by 2 rounds, but that last round, especially from LYNGBY, is crushing to the Forza side. They're back on their own force buy with Deagles and Tech-9s.
Yeah, it's not great, that's for sure. And it's got to come down to who's going to win 2 in a row, right? Who's really going to be able to reset their opposition to have a full eco? And Forza, how do they maintain the AK? Because Flit has got to be sort of the man of the hour here in this force buy round to do the majority of the heavy lifting. Smoke's coming through from both sides. Vent dive smoke in for the T's, but a re-smoke out from Squeaky from LYNGBY.
Watching. Trying to tap on somebody, trying to get a kill or 2, but no, nothing seen. NATO backs down. Rylax here with the SMG. Smoke back from NATO, going to stall for time, and it's all just about time stalling tactics here for LYNGBY. Backed up, passive for the moment. SMG. Play back up, 55 seconds left.
Yeah, that was good information gathering outside from the AUG. You saw that rather than just taking a shot off, just counting how many players went past. And now look at like the stack into the lower bomb side. There's 3 CTs here, but the trades are 1 for 1, and they continue going forward, but now an advantage up for the CT side. But Jerry's got behind them, and now it's a 2v2. They can bring the bomb back towards the top side. Rylax stuck in the vents. MP9 just falls down. Bird from Sky is now left to try and clutch.
AUG going to spray through back. The bomb can get planted now towards the B play. And Bird from Sky knows that Jerry has not got it. He's going to dive back down, try and isolate Kenzie. He'll get this plant in. Double doors are open. He closes them very quickly. Quick swing back towards the blue boxes.
Oh.
And Bird from Sky loses the fight. Forza run it back so well. And the SMG in particular diving through those vents. So well communicated there from Forza to isolate that one pick and turn it back to their favor.
Yeah, look, that was a chaotic moment, and I think the comms were really good. Like, we saw that Jerry was the one on sort of T-roof that was able to catch off one of the players over-aggressing to clear out lobby, and then driving down into the vents to help out Kenzie. And Bird from Sky realized how quickly he needed to make a move to be able to either deny that bomb or just get it defused straight away. And Kenzie wins a really important kill. We've gone back and forth a few rounds now between these 2 sides.
And this war of attrition will work out better for Forza being in the lead. The Deagles again. Rylax almost makes it 3. He manages 2 kills and a tag on Jerry. And the Deagle, a Bird from Sky, next to face up. He had his own Deagle moment a couple rounds ago. But Jerry shuts him down and brings it back to evens. Even so, damage being done to the T-side line. Still susceptible to falling on 2 players who are heavily tagged. And re-smokes in. That bomb's going to find a nice line into the site itself. Fasher is here in hot, though. He's not going to allow them to escape.
Yeah, a bit of a lobby play coming in for the CTs. 1 out from ramp, 1 coming in from Hart. Zorti might just be ready for it. That's the first. Spots out the second two. Great crosshair placement from Zorti. What I love from this guy too, Jay, is how that he's even able to do massive amount of damage when he's got the M4 and the AK in play, even without the AWP. 28 kills in 20 rounds for their newest edition. What a game he's having.
Second tactical call by LYNGBY Vikings here in this map, realizing that everything has fallen out of their control. The force back unable to keep this together. And now the eco has got to come through, or does it? Bird from Sky and Rolls, they're forcing again.
Nah,
they don't want to play
on,
for
boys.
that.
Nah.
This is listen. If it was a 14 or 15 scoreline for Forza, I would
Don't
respect
mind it.
that.
Yeah.
But there's still 3 rounds of buffer to match point, not just map victory.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think this is a big mistake. And like we said it time and time again, they even did it against Sprout, you know, some really awkward forces when it's not necessary. You know, the deficit's not massive. It's not as if they can't come back. They had a great advantage in that last round of that 5-on-3 from Rylax playing top heart. Maybe they think that they can turn it around and find some success, but I think this is a big mistake and one that could potentially hurt them in the series overall.
Quick doors open up, Fashion with a CZ close, sees Almaza, does not get the kill. Holds fire for the moment, Molotov's in from Almaza instead. The AK sprays up. Doesn't get any sort of damage into the CT forces. They're playing possum and passive here, LYNGBY Vikings.
I wonder if they know it's a force as of yet. Deagle outside from Bird from Sky at least spots a player. I almost feel like the IGL from LYNGBY Vikings towards this outside control, rather than actually looking at taking fights, his main role is just to get info and work off the basis of the rotations about them.
Footsteps heard in that vent area. Fasha, lone defender of the site, has backup up at heaven. Bursts through CZ, I should say, gets that one frag. Almost gets that second, sets Birds from Sky up for the kill. Flip trades back on Rylax, 3 versus 3. And CT's coming in to close out the gap. Nato Safix has dealt with Rules back in the lobby position. Tensy's not quite ready for it. Back turn, there's a Deagle headshot. Now to 2 versus 2. And the Deagle spams from heaven as well. Bird from Sky focusing on Flip. Got him so low. That HG from Rules to actually close out the frag. No, he goes down to the Deagle. It's all left to Zorti. And he's cleaned up by Bird. 3 from his name. And LYNGBY Vikings do it again and again and again and again. These Deagle rounds should not be this successful.
It's been twice now that I've really criticized the buy, and it's actually worked out. It happened on Dust 2. It's now happened here out on Nuke. And for Forza, like, there's so much money to fall back on, which is great from them, that even though, like, the loss bonus is obviously so low, they're still able to get AKs forward. And after we've pretty much gone force buy for force buy this entire first half, Jay, it's ended up turning into a gun round.
Don't know what to say. Like, if this keeps going like this, Forza will tip past the finish line, but the fact that LYNGBY are just constantly being a major thorn in their side just to stop that momentum from going, it must feel frustrating. Will they get tilted is the main concern, I think, for the Russians, because that's a possibility entirely. Nato Safix will hold down the ramp position as he gets that 1 kill, and Zorti finds the trade. Got a player also at observation window, it's Rules. Waiting in the corridors, doesn't need backup just yet because the T's are starting to play into the A site, so these 2 players just need to stay put.
Yeah, the first half was so perfect, like it was momentum-based, we didn't see sloppy rounds at all, and then this second half is like, nah, we don't want to play that kind of CS anymore. It's scrappy, it's back and forth, it's force buy after force buy. And LYNGBY Vikings are really struggling with the info here. They've got a player out from lower, Bird from Sky is very, very deep outside, not really spotting anything either. This might be another top site play from Forza.
Smoke down on main, will stall for an extra few seconds. Jerry walking out of Squeak Door. Fasher ready for the swing. Will he catch his man? Will he catch Fit as well? He'll get the bomb. Plants a double up on the headshot. Huge sequence that might turn this round in the favor of LYNGBY. 4 versus 2, making it 1 as Zorti falls inside and Kenty tracked towards outside. Dealt with from Bird from Sky. And the Danish core keeps us in awe. 2 rounds of difference, and it's got to be an eco from FORZE.
Oh, that was beautiful crosshair placement coming out from Fasher. He's been a player that's been exceptional, I want to say, from this LYNGBY Viking side. No matter what the situation, he's always putting in the hard yards. And it almost felt like that jiggle peak initially, FORZE were able to get an idea of where he was, and they tried to kind of swing together, but still both kills come out. A harsh eco follows. Kenzie with a deagle, little bit of armor, Jerry with a deagle too, and well, that's all they've got. It's a pretty light eco. You don't expect a lot of damage to come out.
First kill found on Kenzie. Bird from Sky with the frag back. Tap through on that AK, takes no damage. So he's the next pistol facing. The deagle got picked up there from Flit. Later, Safek's making his way in from Secret. When does he extend and look for these kills? When does he extend and try and hunt these players down? We'll look up initially. May have seen that one man. Yeah, nade on Flit. Damage done to him and Jerry. Knocking him down less than 35 in some cases. And FORZE, well, they're just suppressed at this stage. They can't move.
Now, they can't do a lot. The really only way they do damage here is if the CTs kind of force the fights, right? Like if they overextend, they start pushing forward, they get hungry. If they just play passive, there should be no way in which FORZE even get a kill. That nade being chunked down outside already has done so much. Getting closer to 30 seconds on the clock. Maybe they try and dive lower, but they've got no smokes to cross outside. They're going to have to deal with Bird from Sky.
He has been pushed off angle. Flit going to make his way into the site. Quick plays up from FORZE. 20 seconds. They've got to either get the bomb plant in or just go down because they can't afford to stay alive and lose out on the money bonus. They're going to act real quick here. 2 out from main. 10 seconds remain on these 2. They line up for Rylax and Fasher. Bird from Sky comes up. Flit gets a kill back. Grabs that AK. I think he's going to go ahead and save it. Back here towards heaven. As LYNGBY Vikings secure 11.
Yeah, that's okay. Like, I looked at that for a moment and thought, geez, if they go down after time, it does not go well. But he gets an AK, so it works out pretty nicely. And now a second tactical being used by FORZE. Probably just realizing, you know, the kind of situation they're in. It's been very much a kind of forced by sort of second half. Like, it hasn't been the cleanest of Counter-Strike. And maybe FORZE just sort of think to themselves, right, like, let's just try and brute force our way through. Let's just see if we can get another round up. We've got a lead. We've held on to it for a little while now, even with a bit of a comeback from LYNGBY. As long as they've got the lead, they've got the advantage with the pressure. LYNGBY Vikings already down a map in the series, Dust 2, and FORZE's map pick. Certainly not quite as convincing with the scoreline in this second map like it was in the first.
Incendiaries and nades, M4 on Bird from Sky. Can face out towards the sweep door entrance from main. It's going to be the AKs, of course, out for the FORZE camp. And LYNGBY backed up. This nade doesn't land that deep. It does do damage to Fasher. Ray's back on 8 HP, Jerry down to 54. So all in all, the teams went out in that engagement.
Yeah, Fasher's been quite aggressive about his approach in Squeaky for the last couple of rounds, but now, after taking as much spam as he did, probably has to try and get in from a different angle. Almost a bit of a bait setup out from ramp. Now, there is no one playing outside here from LYNGBY Vikings. This is a bit of a unique setup, something we haven't seen from them before, and because they don't have anyone outside, Netosafix is going to drop down to the lower bomb site from the vents.
Molotov's on, Fasher's going to burn. That's the first kill. Zorti predicting that position particularly well. And Jerry making his way out, checks Rylax in the rafters. Rylax still gets the kill. He's traded, rolls, falls back, Netosafix with a train, and almost a response to him the same. So it's all left to Bird from Sky. Over from the ramp entrance here at Hell, coming up towards heaven. A difficult clutch for him, so we're looking at a 13th for FORZE here.
Now, that really scrambled the rotations for LYNGBY Vikings. So what we saw there was after Fasher gets so much spam damage, trying to peek in from Squeak, he actually chucks over his rifle to get the AWP from NATO Safix and plays back default. And with those outside smokes, NATO drops down into the vents to at least get some information if there's a secret control play coming in. And it's just a top site play. Great molly towards back default from Zordy, finds that first pick. And they work with the information, right? Yes, that player up towards the Mustang angle of the rafters does get one pick from Rylax, but an instant trade comes out. NATO tries to come back up from the vents. They recover that AWP. Oh, just. That was actually pretty decent from Bird from Sky, realizing that AWP of Fasher was holding back default. Let's try and get back in there to pick it up again.
I like that. That was a really swift movement, grabbing the kit, grabbing the AWP, getting as much out of that round as possible. You knew you lost it by that stage, so let's see what you can go for. The rebuy we're going to be enabled for LYNGBY Vikings off the back of that. AWP going to be allowed for NATO. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come through at all if he hadn't saved that weapon, so. AK's tap and burst through squeaky door. FORZE hoping to catch an opening kill. So far, no casualties sustained. A little bit of damage done from a couple of players on the CT side. The FORZE just drawing out so much with such little map control. Meanwhile, Bird from Sky is pressing forward towards outside, so if they go for these smokes, he could become a crucial element of this defensive.
It depends on whether they check him, right? He's gone aggressive outside, but is anyone actually pre-aiming this position? Kenzie is expecting it. Oh, Bird from Sky doesn't win out that fight, and Kenzie takes hardly any damage.
AWP of NATO is next to face here in the garage position. I thought Flip was going to swing. It's not going to happen. Gap in that smoke. Fasher can just about see through it. He'll back off with the utility coming through. That's going to force him off the hot angle. Two players drop down vents that go into the B site. And only one player in rolls to try and respond towards it. AUG spray through on the players out. Deacon gets them both and drops that bomb. Incendiary wanted to stall for extra time. It's a man advantage game by LYNGBY.
Now, that's a big play out from Rouse. He was the only defensive member towards a lower bomb site, and now even Jerry Falls trying to push into ramp. Two players left of Flit and Kenzie. This looks great for the retaking players, but Rouse goes down.
Flit with a big frag. And Molotoving off position. Going to have Kenzie swinging, seeing NATO Safix's shoulder. Got to get back on Fasher as well. Suppressed in a 2 versus 2. Player coming in from the vents areas as well. Going to make his way down towards Deacon door, but a listen out for that squeak. Fasher takes Flip back. Kenzie now in a very difficult position, a very precarious angle. Hearing the door open, turned away. Rylax turned up. Oh, he turns around! 180 for the second, and a 14th for FORZE.
Has he even got a mouse pad big enough for that? What is that, Jay? What? That is the sickest turnaround, the 180 degree. That was so well played from LYNGBY Vikings. They open up decontamination, give him a little bit of an edge. The swing comes out, they peek together, and Kenzie still wins the clutch. That may be one of the best 1vx situations we have seen today, Jay.
Huge plays from the newcomer to this side.
My goodness.
14-11. FORZE now up against a forced buy from LYNGBY. Deagles and SMG is only on rolls. That's it. The best weapon they've got is an MP9. And the T's just go out to this standard slow style of play that's been a bit hit and miss over the course of this map, but it's been more hit than it has been miss. 3 rounds in the lead, 1 away from match point, 2 away from 2-0 victory and qualification for the playoffs as well.
In towards the top side, great incendiary down for the CTs, but it still allows the hut players to push forward. Zordy finds that first pick and makes it a second. Now Jerry and Almazer get involved. Bird from Sky and Rouse, I mean, what can they do from here? This is a force buy, remember. He's stuck behind the main smoke. Do they just save? Is that the option?
Well, Bird from Sky is not going to get that option. He's taken out immediately. Rolls, tapped through. 57 points of health for him, and he's got to save the Kevlar above the I mean, even the SMG, because they might even have enough to rebuy one. The money is going to be absolutely crippled for LYNGBY. FORZE, 5 players alive. Any casualties will not affect them whatsoever, and they don't take any at all. 15-11. Map, match, and Group D point. Group stage point, in fact. 1 round for FORZE to make their way to the playoff stage.
They deserve it, Jay. They've played incredibly well today. They've really sort of acted up their whole game plan after that opening best of 3. Like, even though it was a 2-0 against Ethereal, it looked awkward from the first map at Dust 2, but they've turned it around. LYNGBY Vikings on a force again, and you feel for them, right? Like, there's so many back and forth rounds to start off this second half that really could have gone either way, but with FORZE in the lead, they've only got 1 more to do it. 4 more in a row from LYNGBY to bring it to overtime, and the buy they've got, it's not there.
2 SMGs at least can come through. The Deagle's in on Bird from Sky, Rules and Rylax against the AKs. I don't want to say it's an impossible win because we've seen what these hand cannons can do for LYNGBY in this matchup several times today. But NATO tagged up before we can get that smoke together. Bird from Sky is already on 4 points of health. It's not a great start for the CTs.
No, they would have seen that bomb, so they've got the information that there was a bit of secret play in. Nade out towards ramp 2 does a fair bit of damage to the T side. Oh, look at this play from Flit, though. He could wrap heaven.
Deagle on Bird, takes 1. Kenzie can trade it back. Now they're going to go towards the outside control. I think you're right about that heaven wrap. No, they're going to make their way in from mid. Rylax, Deagle in the corner. Better get checked out. 1 CT down. No trade. There comes Jerry finally taking that player out. Faster in the back lines. Goes down the same. 3 versus 2. FORZE, man advantage. Bomb plant secured. SMG swings. Doesn't get anything done. Rules is last left on 19 HP. And Zorti with a wallbang spray will get the 2-0 for FORZE. Such a bad start against LYNGBY in the best of 1 in the group stage, but taking the 2-0 against Ethereal and now getting their revenge above the Danish core. They'll be moving forward out of Group D to join the 7 other teams in the playoffs.
I'm impressed by FORZE. I really am, Jay. Like, when you think about that, they've had Kenzie and Zorti kind of filling in as stand-ins a little bit, but they only got officially signed 3 days ago. They're now making it into the playoffs. I think the caveat for LYNGBY Vikings is this is a team to watch out for in 2021. I think that they really had a great day yesterday. Maybe today it wasn't as strong, right? Like, they could have potentially had a 2-0 over Sprout. They missed their opportunity there on Vertigo, and now they come into the series today against an on-form FORZE, and they just don't have what it takes. FORZE going off into the playoffs.
Yeah, and what a turnaround from FORZE as well, because I honestly believe that this was going to be, you know,